Good flipping morning, everybody. It's another episode of Coffee and Color with your host, Culler. OBJ speaks to the media. Anthony Weaver continues to shine at the podium. And Adam Beasley updates us on the latest we can expect from Stephen Ross and the sale of our team. Those of you that want Ross gone and to sell the team are probably going to be a little disappointed. And then, of course, Beasley shames us fans for some reason. We'll definitely get to all that in just a moment. Stick around.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown.
Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm f***ed off at these f***ing clowns who were all taught they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
I'm a part of this, so it doesn't feel good. To me, it feels even worse. I would have rather, us been 4-0 right now, and then I'd feel like, oof, like I can't wait to get in instead of where we're at and feeling like I should have been out there battling with them, win, lose, or draw. That's the hardest part about sitting out and not being able to help, So, like I say, I'm just excited to get back out there. Whenever that is, just coming up with a game plan. I don't ease me back into it a little bit, and then let's just play ball. Like it's time. It's a long season. No need to get down. If you played as long as I played, these seasons can go however which way you want.
Once again, good morning, everybody. It is 81 degrees and rainy in West Palm Beach this morning. I hope you all are doing well. Make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. OBJ giving us a nice long interview. We're going to play through it a little later because I think he's got some good things to say and got a few good nuggets. He opens up as to why he hasn't thus far been playing and didn't go through camp, and speaks on why he regrets that, and we get a little insight on what's really been going on. Of course, we had no idea, nor could we have. So it would, and it's nothing that we couldn't have handled. So I don't know why, they create this situation to get the fans in a tizzy, and then they blame the fans for it. But we'll talk about that as well, and what Adam Beasley had to say to the fans. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel. If you're over on Twitch or Twitter or any other platform, please come over and give us a like and a subscribe. Also, if you're on Apple and Spotify, we welcome you. Appreciate you listening. And you can go over to TFTGnetwork.com to find links to all of that, including all of our YouTube content, our bios, social media links, as well as the TFTG shop for all of our cool merch. Make sure you're checking it all out. Hit the link in the description below if you want to go to Fanatics for anything you need. It'll let them know we sent you, and they do appreciate when we send people there. So the poll for today, as you're coming in, as you're filing in, you might notice, do you even care if OBJ is ready to play or not, or is going to play this week? Does it even factor on your radar? Of course, the answers are going to be, options are going to be yes, no, or do you prefer PBJ over OBJ? Some of y'all might rather just have PBJ. So hit the poll, make sure you're answering, and hit the like before you do. I like to keep those numbers even. And we got to get to 100 likes, people, today. I mean, my job is on the line. Cap's like, look, Culler, I don't know how much longer we can hold you here if you don't get them likes over 100. You know, it is what it is, man. The guy's a good leader. He expects, you know, excellence out of us and our audience. So, you know, hit the like button. Otherwise, you may never see me again. And that would be a real shame. So I just want to say hello to a few of you in chat. I just see Manolo, Mr. Dragoon, Tim Washington, and Jamie. We need to hit the like button and get more people in here. I guess it's a quiet morning. Otherwise, somebody else is saying something way more interesting than me, but that's okay. I'll talk to y'all. Anthony Weaver, of course, just class act at the podium, continues to show us why, you know, a whole nother level of, you know, coaching, and some would argue that would much nicer to see that type of coach at our podium as our head coach. But McDee's got a chance coaching for his job this week, I still firmly believe. Because if you can't beat this Patriots team, you can't beat nobody. You know, let's face it. You got a delusional Patriots fan, one of the non-Dolphins fans that comes around these parts, told me this morning, look, their defense made Brock Purdy look like Lamar Jackson. And we got a guy that almost looks like Lamar Jackson. So, you know, he's telling us to take the over on Tyler Huntley's rushing yardage. You know, it's not like they feel the greatest about their chances, but they're a good, solid coach team, and they're certainly getting better. And they're still an NFL football team. So, you know, and obviously we haven't been playing like one on offense anyway. So it's time for us to either step up and move on like we're supposed to, or the Patriots to get better on a team like us. Well, we can't let that happen. So either case, we'll hear what Weaver has to say. Wes Welker also takes the podium yesterday to talk about a few things. And of course, special teams coach Danny Crossman and outside linebackers coach Ryan Crow. But first, I want to get into something about Stephen Ross. Most of us have wondered or talked about, you know, what are the future plans for Ross with the team? You know, lately, Ali and I have kind of speculated that with the way that they're treating fans and costs going up and all that stuff, you know, that a lot of people are, you know, that we're looking at like, hey, you know, these are the types of things that corporations do when they're about to sell. You know, so that, you know, it's like the evidence keeps ramping up that something like that's going to happen. Now, we got word, obviously, past couple days that Ross is going to sell roughly 10 to 15% of his holdings to a billionaire and also another holdings company. Everybody's known that. But that's also further indications that the team, that the shares of the team are getting chopped up. That kind of keeps the snowball rolling of the talk that Stephen Ross would sell the team, and who that may be to, what type of owner we would look at, we would want, and all this other stuff. And we've all been talking about that for a while. We even have the hashtag Toss Boss Ross here at the Finn's Tailgate. We've talked about it extensively. But let's face it, when you try to hold a billionaire accountable for his toy, it's a lost cause, because if he's not willing to sell the team, then it doesn't matter. Well, Adam Beasley put out an article yesterday for Pro Football Network claiming to have confirmed the plans of Stephen Ross. I mean, we all know one of the possibilities, but one of those possibilities, according to Pro Football Network, and what they've recently learned, is one of those possibilities is likely to be the case. So from Miami Gardens, Adam Beasley writes, the news from Bloomberg this week that New Jersey Nets owner Joe Tsai and a private equity firm are close to buying a percentage of the Miami Dolphins. And that shouldn't come as a big surprise to anybody. Team chairman of the board, Stephen Ross, has long been seeking out investors in the Dolphins and their associated holdings, including lucrative Formula One race, and apparently has found a match with Tsai and private equity firm Ares Management. Beasley writes, Ares will reportedly buy 10% of the franchise, which all in is valued at $8.1 billion. That includes the real estate. In the first private equity transaction since the NFL changed the rules to allow for it. So wasn't aware of that. Apparently, the NFL recently changed the rules to allow for profit taking like that on the shares. Cool. So Tsai is a Taiwanese Canadian billionaire who co-founded the Alibaba Group. And he's in line to acquire 3%. Now, none of that's really news. It's just a reminder of what's been going on recently. The news is, first of all, that's obviously without anything changing anytime soon. That's going to be a minority controlling minority share. So they will not have a controlling stake in the Dolphins, Beasley reported. And as he writes, that will remain in the family even after Ross dies, who is 84 years old. Pro Football Network has learned Ross wants the team to go to his daughters, Jennifer and Kimberly. That means that whenever the proposed partial sale goes through, and Ross reportedly hopes the cash infusion is approved by the end of the year, it will have no impact on the operation of the franchise. If the deal goes through, Ross will get back nearly his entire initial investment into the franchise, as Capitan continues to point out to you guys. He made 2 installments in 2008 and 2009 to buy the Dolphins from Wayne Huizenga for $1.1 billion. So he's about to make 15% of $8.1 billion. That will sure cover that cost. So basically, he goes on to write, Ross is now worth somewhere between $12 billion and $17 billion. Depending on the valuation publication, Forbes ranks Ross the world's 115th richest person. Tsai, who is 60, has owned the Nets since 2019. He was part of an investment group that unsuccessfully attempted to buy the Carolina Panthers in 2018. So Tsai obviously wants a football team. Now, you could say down the road, maybe something will change. Maybe the daughters will sell out to him. Who knows? But currently, the Ross family's not going anywhere. So it looks like if you're talking about two daughters of Stephen Ross, we don't know what their football acumen is. They could love football. I don't know. But obviously, the thought would be prevailing that now any GM and or president would basically act as the voice of the team, the ownership of the team. So I know that the daughters would still have to sign off on moves they make, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't just give carte blanche to whoever their president and GM is. So if that's Greer, that remains to be seen. We'll see. Personally, I think I've always maintained that Greer is never going to get fired, that if he did, it would just be an upward movement. So it's possible that they create another position to act as the owner on behalf of the daughters. I can imagine Chris Greer being moved up to president and maybe Tom Garfinkel assuming the role of, let's call it curator or something. You know what I mean? Because it's painfully obvious that Stephen Ross has some kind of personal relationship with or friendship with Garfinkel. I mean, the guy's made him a lot of money. Let's be real, as president of the company. People can like him or hate him, same as they do Roger Goodell, but the owners are never going to get rid of Roger Goodell as long as our profit margin, as long as their profits keep going up. And that's one thing that Goodell has done, is made this league a lot of money. So that's, like him or hate him, you can only boo him, So that's the latest on the Ross, on what's going on with the ownership of the team going forward. Thank you to Adam Beasley for reporting that. Now, I do want to get to Adam Beasley for another reason, and I'm not going to rail on the guy too hard. I'm just going to use this as an example, okay, because I just thought about it earlier this morning. I was chatting it up with y'all, some of y'all in Miss Finn's chat, and it occurred to me that, we have the day after the game, Monday night, we had the fan of the year for the Miami Dolphins shaming all the fans at the stadium. You have the players consistently and constantly, Javon Holland, shaming the fans. And now you've got media reporters that are not, well, maybe he's a Dolphin fan, I don't know. They're supposed to be unbiased. They're supposed to be journalists. And instead of bringing us the information so we can actually know what we're talking about when we talk with each other, they like to hide and obfuscate the information. And then when the information comes out and makes us fans look bad for our opinions on a given situation, they turn around and say, shame on us as fans. Now, I'm not going to put that on Odell Beckham Jr. because if you listen, we're going to get to what Odell said in his complete interview in a second. I'm not going to put that on Odell because Odell's answer was pretty respectful to the fans and to his own self. Because let's face it, nobody really has to care about the fans' opinion. So for his part, he simply says that. It's noise. I got a thick skin. I've learned that over the years. Not going to be riled up by what the fans say. Okay? Fair enough. That's the high road. And credit to him for taking it. Adam Beasley, on the other hand, tweets out yesterday, and this is a quote: anybody who tweeted something like, Odell Beckham Jr. is the new Will Fuller, should read this and feel shame. and read this, meaning the article about Odell Beckham breaking his silence and why, he hasn't been on the field and this or that or the other. All of this could have been told to us in an article when he got in the building. And a lot of fans wouldn't have liked it, but we would have accepted it. Just like we don't like it now, and we're accepting it. So to hold that information all this time, so everybody can come out. Now, I wouldn't expect Odell Beckham Jr. to know how the fans feel about Will Fuller and Michael Wallace and various others that have come to this team and used it as a retirement home. I don't expect Odell Beckham Jr. to be aware of all that. Okay? So this ain't coming at him. But Adam Beasley is a journalist. Adam Beasley knows what the Miami Dolphins fans have been, how we've been sold a bill of goods by several players throughout the decades. He knows that. So to deliberately withhold all this information just so the fans can come out and correlate it with a Will Fuller situation and then turn around and say, ha, it's been this the whole time. You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You know what, Adam Beasley? There are about 5 or 6 other guys all over Twitter that are journalists that we all get the same information from eventually. I would just rather not get my future information from you. Thank you very much, sir. I don't need to be shamed. And that's that. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how that person can call themselves a journalist, a fair journalist. Because you're not going to tell me they didn't know about all that. And if they didn't, they should have been asking the questions, not turning around and stoking a flame, making it seem like this guy's going to fleece us again. And then when we go out there and say, whoa, the patterns are showing and the evidence is showing we're getting fleeced, and then you come out with this article, this sob article about, oh, how it's been about all this and that and the other. He had no intention of fleecing us. And then turn around and shame us for it. Literally use the word shame. And you wonder why fans have so much animosity towards players and media. You all are the ones making the money, bro. You might not make as much money as Odell Beckham and the players and the coaches, but you make a whole hell of a lot more money than a lot of us fans, Mr. Beasley. And you make that money supposedly journalizing the team and bringing us the information. You're going to say, you're going to hold on to information, and I'm not accusing you of that because I don't know. I don't know when you found out about all this. But why don't you leave the we should be ashamed of ourselves part out of it? You're here to tell us what was said, not tell us how to think. And I would encourage everybody to always listen to journalists that are not trying to tell you how to think without saying don't listen to him. Because I certainly don't want to slander him. You're not going to tell me you didn't know about Will Fuller and Mike Wallace and everybody else that's fleeced this organization. Every other lowly veteran, wayward veteran that has fleeced this organization. You remember, I think it was maybe, $7 million we gave to Aqib Talib as a favor to the Rams to buy a draft pick. Forgot about that one, didn't you? You know, y'all never told us that was what it was about. We knew, but you didn't tell us. We figured it out on our own. So what do we need journalists for if they're just going to turn around and say shame on you and wag their finger at us? As if we're in the building like you are. No, we rely on you guys for that information. And when you're holding it from us, don't blame us and then shame us for having an opinion that's based on evidence and patterns of this organization. I don't remember Adam Beasley being around when I was 13 years old. Following this football team. You might know how to write better and speak better than the rest of us, but some of us have been following this team much longer than you have. And so, yes, it does give us a bit of an authority over a journalist who happens to be in the building now. Yeah, we're wrong about this one. Missed it. We weren't working with all the information. Shame on us. Anyway. So we're going to get in. Well, I'm going to get into this Odell Beckham interview because I think it's actually pretty good. I didn't have to roast him too hard. You know, because the guy's got the right mentality. You don't believe it, you don't believe it. That's fine. That's what the poll's about. Make sure you're voting in the poll. Hit the like button, vote in the poll. The poll question, do you even care if OBJ is playing or not this week? Play or not this year, this week, whatever. So far, 37 of you got votes in. We only got 15 likes, so only half of you voted or hitting the like button. Do you care if OBJ plays or not? 21% so far have said yes. 53% no. And 26% have said, I prefer PBJ. So you're talking 79% of our audience so far, 38 voted, does not care if OBJ plays or not. Shame on us. How dare us? I wonder why that is, Beasley. Have you ever thought to investigate that and write an article about that? Exactly, DPF. See, you know, credit to this is why we allow other fans in our in our community, because we're not always talking about football. Okay, and these fans are NFL fans too, and are pattern recognition machines too. Okay, delusional Patriots fan says, "Shame on you from acting on the partial information that they purposely shared. You should have hacked the system and found it." I know, Patriots fan. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? Shame on me. Unbelievable, this guy. But see, you only get that opinion. You're only going to get that opinion on TFTG. Everybody else is shutting the door on the other fans of the league. Delusional Patriots fan is a pattern recognition machine, just like the rest of us. Now, the patterns don't always, correlation is not always causation, but, okay, it can be. And shout out to everybody in chat. We have a few more of you showing up now. That's cool. AP Ryan showing up. Shake Money's here. Good morning, Shake. Great show last night with Tonk. Red, White, and Bills. Yeah, Bills fan. Halfway smart Bills fan. I know they're hard to find, but we got one. Black Sheep, how's it going? Who cares? I know, right? Who cares? To go to the Jets motivator. Greg Sousa, and of course, Hal 9000. How you doing this morning, everybody? So let me get this Odell Beckham video queued up. Now, obviously, the part I open the show up with is going to be a little repetitive, but that's not till towards the middle. All right, look at this guy. All right, let me know if it's hard, if you can't hear it. I know the question is you probably won't be able to, but you'll figure them out.
In late August, you'd actually wanted to start the season on the active roster. Was there benefit in waiting? Does the knee feel better?
I mean, I think a lot of people don't know exactly what I was going through, just like everybody.
You don't say.
In here, we're all humans. We all go through life. And ending the season, it was a lot going on in my life, personal life, businesses, all of that. That just kind of had me in a place where football wasn't exactly the priority. I have a son. He's 2 years old. I didn't get much time to spend with him. I feel like he's growing up fast, and I'm not having that much time. So football wasn't exactly the first and foremost thing on my mind. Then I had to have a small cleanup, like of the knee, and just kind of going through that free agency process. My agent and I went back and forth whether we do it right after the season or, we wait until free agency happens. And I just feel like I waited too late, didn't know what was going on. Deep down inside, my plan a long time ago was the way that the free agency went, I was probably going to join the team during the season, so I would have had more time. It wasn't going to be the pressure to be back for training camp, all that. So, just talking with Mike as just figuring out where I wanted to go and the conversations I had with him, along with some of the brothers that I have down here, he was one of the main reasons I came here. And we kind of had an understanding of probably not going to be ready. You know what I mean?
That's fascinating, and that's exactly what I would have expected. And you know what? He's going to mention it here in a second, but it's not like we threw a bag at him. It's not like we weren't comfortable with our wide receiver room without him being here. He's literally saying, look, my plans were to get all this taken care of and go the Weddle plan and be a rental for somebody. Chris Greer said, nah, come now. We'll figure it out. We locked him in, basically. Because if he'd have done it the other way, he could have easily be rented by by another team. I mean, we could have easily missed out on that chance. A cheap chance. So he's basically saying, Mike, meaning Mike McDaniel, apparently, we get how it's going to be. We already knew that it wasn't going to be a go from the start. So he then said, good, because this is what I was going to do. Anyway, let me go get my knee cleaned up. Let me spend some time with my family. Let me make sure all the videos scrubbed. And, we'll play some ball. Well, it couldn't come at a better time, and I don't blame him for none of that. I don't think any of us would have blamed him for all that. If that would have been clear to us from the beginning. We're paying X millions of dollars. It's not really that much. Even if we only get half a season out of him, we would have rented him for that much halfway through the year anyway. And if that was our intention, then yeah, it's no different than, getting your guy in the draft. You move up, you get your guy. It may not, everybody else might be like, why'd they do that? It's because it's your guy. And that's what the guy you wanted. You make every effort to get him. So it seems to me that we probably had intentions on renting him if that was the path he was going to go, rather than compete with all the other teams out there for his services, which would drive up his price. We minimized our losses and we got him early. Now, if the journalists would have been out there reporting it factually as this is what's going on, this is what we're paying for, then I think some of us would have been upset, sure. But oh well, we're fickle fans. We're always going to find something to be upset about. It would have blown over and we all would be happy right now with him coming back. Nobody would have said one word about Will Fuller. Instead, this is where we're at. Months of people comparing him to Will Fuller. Then we find out this, which I'm perfectly okay with still. And the people that were going to be mad at it, they're mad at it. Okay. Come Sunday when he's catching the football, nobody's going to be thinking about it. So I really just don't appreciate the media telling me, shame on me. I mean, I didn't ever say it was Will Fuller, but I can understand why people were making that comparison. I'm speaking for those people. You know, I mean, there's no reason to use the words like Shane. You're a journalist, bro.
He ensured me that was fine. You know, just try and get back as fast as you can. I think a lot of people, my bad, bro. I know we all in your space, but just give us a little time. Look, and you know, a lot of people don't know what pupless is or what it actually entails. You know, you see a lot of people, oh, are you even gonna play football? Like, this is just me from the bottom. I could be anywhere in the world right now. Like, I chose to be here to play football in the NFL. I could be overseas anywhere. I could be doing whatever.
I mean, how do you not admire the honesty? He seems like he's throwing it in our face, but this is pure honesty. Look, I don't gotta play football. I was really contemplating not. I didn't have the fire for it anymore. This is honesty right here.
I've done enough in my life to where I've warranted that for myself. So I chose to be here. I hate the feeling of walking around this building and you're hurt, and pupless means I can't practice with the team. Sorry. I can't practice with the team, be on the field. I can't play the first 4 games. Like, it's a rule. It's very simple. So it's just something that I kind of had to follow. Not what I wanted to do, but, you know, for me, it was a selfless act, because if I'm not on the pup list, I'm taking up a roster spot, which means I'm taking someone else's job and I'm not doing anything. It's not really a good feeling to have. So it was what was best for this team.
Yeah, and there's no way we could have known it wouldn't have mattered. Given our production at wide receiver 3, we couldn't have known it wouldn't have mattered. You know, because turns out we probably could have kept him on the roster and it'd have been the same production as we're getting anyway. You know, so yeah, but we couldn't have known that.
The organization, and that's something that, you know, it was an easy decision for us.
So were you itching to get back all this time?
Yeah.
And after you realized, oh, dang, now I gotta wait.
Yeah, listen, I'll be honest. Like I say, I don't want to be walking around this building, waking up at 6:45 a.m. to just come in here from 7 to 5 o'clock. Like I said, there's a lot of things I could be doing with my life. So football is still something that I love to do. It just was an unfortunate situation that I was in. You know, I was kind of behind the 8 ball, you know, not really knowing if this is what I wanted to do or anything like that. But being able to be back in the building, to be back on the field, like, it was a lot of hard work. You know, people don't know what I've gone through with this knee because I don't come out and make excuses for myself. I just put my cleats on, continue to work. I think at the end of the day, when my career is all said and done, you know, I wanted to be the best receiver and all these things, but I think my story is going to be more about resiliency and just showing kids if it's something you want, you know, you always got to fight for it. So you always can find your way back. So that's really just, you know, kind of what it's been for me.
How explosive did you feel?
No, you're good. I forgot what it feels like, but yeah.
Feedback out there now with your teammates, whole pads and everything. How exciting was it to, kind of move things out and just that's it?
Yeah. I mean, it was very exciting for me. It was very, I don't know the right word, but just humbling or, whatever it was, like to be back out there. I felt very grateful because I remember what it was like when I felt like I couldn't walk, during the off season. So I sure couldn't run, couldn't work out. Like just being able to be back out there with these guys who put in so much work. It's what I've been waiting on. Like, I didn't sign over here to walk around. There's, cafeteria is great food, all that, but like, I didn't sign over here to come walk around in this building. I wanted to be a part.
Well, now we know Odell watches my show too. Thank you. Welcome to the show, Odell. Appreciate you this morning. Well, he's probably in practice right now, but that's pretty funny. He's like basically said what I said about the tailgate. Like, yo, the food's good, but it ain't that good. I want to see some football. He's the same thing. He's like, the cafeteria food's great, but it ain't football.
Part of something special. Duke, Riley, and Jalen Ramsey are brothers of mine. Like, they told me how special this place was, and to come over here and see that.
Special is definitely. I can understand the word special about the Miami Dolphins. That's for sure.
That's what I came here for. So I came here to play football. So for all the people who are listening and don't understand that, like, that's what I came here to do.
How explosive did you feel in today's practice?
I felt pretty good. I still the old guy can still run, a little bit. So I mean, I felt good. I think I feel obviously a bit out of football shape in a sense, but just like everything else, it comes with repetition, and just being able to get out there and run around. I don't think the people understand how much of a joy that is. To be able to not even stretch, and I can go out there and just take off running. It's been a long journey with me and the things that I've had to encounter in my career. So just being able to get out there felt great.
How challenging is it to watch these last 4 weeks, the struggles the offense have had, and how much of a difference do you think it can make?
I mean, I'm a part of this, so it doesn't feel good. To me, it feels even worse. I would have rather, us been 4-0 right now, and then I'd feel like, oof, like
don't we all?
I can't wait to get in instead of where we're at and feeling like I should have been out there battling with them, win, lose, or draw. That's the hardest part about sitting out and not being able to help, So, like I say, I'm just excited to get back out there. Whenever that is, just coming up with a game plan. I'll ease me back into it a little bit, and then let's just play ball. Like, it's time. It's a long season. No need to get down. If you played as long as I played, like, these seasons can go however which way you want.
And notice what he said there. He didn't say these seasons can go anywhere or anything can happen. He said these seasons can go however you want. You get that? It's not, keep fighting because anything can happen. He's saying keep fighting because these seasons can go any way you want them to. You got to want it. That's first and foremost. There ain't nothing else that matters but wanting it. And it sounds like he understands about football shape and all that. My guess is if we see him this week, it'll be in a limited capacity, but hopefully limited is in the way that, the couple times we see him, they're nice big plays, and that's just going to come with time. Yeah, maybe you're right, Shelby. He might be, injured again. Who knows? But that's like how's that different than any other day for the Miami Dolphins? Good morning, Mike Skalski. Good seeing you here, buddy. That swabs, you got to have heart. and that dog in you to fight. Our team doesn't have that. Well, they haven't shown that, we'll say. And what Odell is saying, there's still time. And it's about what you want. It's not about what can happen in the NFL. It's not about, oh, all these other teams could collapse, so we got to keep trying. It's about what you want. We've got 3 losses. If they want to go undefeated the rest of the year, maybe that won't happen. Maybe want isn't going to make it happen, but you definitely have to want that to happen for you to have any hope of it happening. And good morning, Devon Joe, too. Color commentary, that a mindset thing, and it shows his mindset and manifesting you success. Yeah, that's why I'm again, these are all just words, Von Joe. You know what I mean? Much like Coach McDaniel the other day, I was liking a lot of what he said. But because we haven't seen the results, we have to keep in the back of our mind that these are words that a lot of guys are programmed to say. However, I don't see any disingenuousness in his body language. I don't see anything that says to me I'm just reading a book. You know what I mean? It really sounds like he believes those things, And, if that's the case, then you would hope that maybe that can rub off onto some other players that haven't been feeling that way. It could be a snowballing effect. It just takes one little thing that becomes infectious throughout the team. We may never get it. It may not happen. But people got to realize that at 1-3, you still have to hope that happens because it is not over yet. We have the entire season on our plate. We were 1-7 with Brian Flores and not one word about tanking and giving up and say, oh, well, that didn't work. Let's start it over. It's the same team. Obviously we've gotten more since then, but we're the same core team. Last year we rolled 11 wins. Yeah, bad teams. I get it. All that, whatever. We didn't show up in the big games. We don't. Well, now we're not showing up in the terrible games. It's not a matter of who the opponent is. It never has been. It's a matter of executing every time. And for some reason, when we get in a big moment situation against a better team, we have a more likelihood that we won't execute. That you could say. But it is nothing about us that's different than any other team that is to why we can't beat the better teams. It's simply that we don't execute when we need to. And so if you're not executing against the bad teams, which you need to do, you're also going to lose. And we have found that out over the last 8 ball games, spanning back to last year. Now we're starting to find it out this year because these teams we're losing to are bad, or mediocre or just above average. Teams we should beat. You could accept the Seattle loss given the travel across country, the short week, and if you would be 2-0 going into that game and having absolutely destroyed both of your opponents beforehand, that would be an acceptable loss, a respectable loss in Seattle. But that's not the way things have been going. And then we follow that up by losing to Tennessee, much worse than we did last time we played them. And it's just like, we're not executing. It's just simple as that. It's not, there's problems with the system. I don't like it very much. There's adjustments the coach needs to make. But guess what? That's the form of execution that's the form that execution takes for a coach. He has to execute too. So it doesn't matter whatever you boil it down to. The problem in our team, coaching staff, up and down the roster is execution and consistent, near 100% execution. Tom Brady is the Hall of Fame quarterback because he had near 100% execution. I've said it 1,000 times to you guys. He treated every single play like it was the last play he was ever going to play in the NFL. When we're all sitting in the stadium and they're on a network timeout and everybody's all lollygagging around on the field and then it's 1st and 10. They come back from break. Somebody runs up the middle for no gain, and everybody gets back fired up. That's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady will put a touchdown on you in that play if you're not careful, because he gets after that freaking break timeout and he's ready to go like it's the Super Bowl, and that's the last play he's ever going to play in his life. And he catches everybody off. That's why Tom Brady has as many Super Bowls as he has. That's why he's successful no matter where he goes. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. It is nothing more than that. There is nothing special about Tom Brady except for execution. That's his superpower, if you want to look at it like that. Lamar Jackson's legs. Josh Allen's legs and arm. Patrick Mahomes' improvisation. Joe Burrow, cool as ice. They all have their superpower. And Tom Brady's was near 100% execution. How do you think Wes Welker had 1,500 yards in a season? You think he was that great? I mean, yeah, he's great, but Joe says Mahomes Jedi mind tricks on the refs. Yeah, that's about right. His superpower is Taylor Swift. Did you have to ask that, Sean? Really? You putting me in a bind, bro. You don't want to know what my answer is, trust me.
You said he basically had to fight you to put you on PvP to start the season. Did you feel ready to go from week one?
Yeah, I don't know if you could just say ready, but I was ready to, have my training camp at that time. Like it's harder to then be on pup, meaning I can't practice with the team. I'm having to do work here and then leave and go do work with, trainers and, like a gold feed and all that. Like it's, I would have rather been able to like compete and battle and all those things. I missed that part of earning your brothers, your teammates respect. Like that's what I came here to do. That's one of the, the major things that I can see myself wanting to prove.
Are you expecting to play Sunday?
I don't know. You got to ask coach.
And just on the timing of it, just to make sure we have it accurate, was it?
Well, pay attention to his facial expressions for the next couple seconds after he answered that question. I think he's playing.
Surgery, March, April, what month was it?
It was
What's the wink?
sometime in the off season.
Okay.
Given the situation where the team is record.
He's playing, man. He's playing. Look at that. And he wants to play. Look, he's ready. I kind of like this Odell. He's grown up a little. Let's replay that whole sequence.
That's one of the, the major things that on pup, meaning I can't practice with the team. I'm having to, I would have rather been able to like compete and battle and all those things. I missed that part of earning your brothers, your teammates respect. Like that's what I came here to do. That's one of the, the major things that I can see myself wanting to prove.
Are you expecting to play Sunday?
I don't know. You got to ask coach.
And
Look, immediately to a smile.
Was
And then some other reporter says something to him. Look at the wink.
Sometime in the off season.
Okay.
Given the situation where the team is record
Look at that. He's playing.
Do you think there is added
He's a
pressure
dog.
with you coming back? Do you think it's something that for
The dog's
yourself?
still in him.
I think at this point in my life, pressure is why I got into this game. It was never for the attention. There's something about knowing that it's time to perform and then showing up and performing. Like, truly, it wasn't for cameras and Instagram followers and endorsements. Like all that is something I didn't really know about. You know what I mean? It was for the pressure. So for me,
what it's always
I'll take
about.
on the pressure, but
Well,
I
I
don't
love
feel
it
there's a
too.
need. I don't feel there's a pressure, extra pressure on me. I feel it's the same for everybody in this building. Like, we got to get going. You know, we got to start making plays. We got to put, offense. Defense has been playing great. Offense is our turn. Like, got to take over.
Wait, what? Wait, what did he just say? That's the second wide receiver in our room that said the defense been playing great. I'm going to double appeal to authority and say that our defense has been playing great.
There's a reason I came to this offense. It's because I seen what they did all last year, 2 games away from being the 1 seed. I was over there in Baltimore when we lost to Tennessee last year. Like, I remember what it was like. So it's a bunch of great things. There's no time to panic, but it's definitely a time to have a sense of urgency.
Are you able to ignore the people who said,
Wait, is he a Dolphins fan? Like, I know he assumed we right there because now he's with the team, but why was he watching in the first place? I mean, I know it was Monday Night Football, but he was obviously taken back by the loss. He might be a Dolphins fan.
oh, he's just here for a paycheck, or did that bother you personally?
Respectfully, I'm not. It sounds messed up, so it's gonna be a bad quote, but I'm not getting paid like a crazy amount of dollars. There's, I could be making money if I had more time elsewhere outside of this building. A lot of my contract is incentives based, so that means I have to reach certain numbers to be able to get that money. So for me, respectfully, I don't really care for, opinion. Like, I care for my son, I care for my close family. I've grown so far past that, because at the end of the day, you could be the most perfect person in the world, say the most perfect quotes and all that. There's still somebody out there who's gonna hate on you. So, like, there's no point in getting yourself caught up over that. I've said the quote, Culler hand sanitizer cleans 99.9% of germs. There's always still.
That's a really, really, really tough question to navigate, and I thought he did it really well. I mean, how do you tell somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be here, you know what I mean? Without sounding like you don't want to be here. I mean, that's a really tough question to navigate. And I thought he did it really well. I mean, he's basically saying, look, I mean, what do you want me to do? You're going to pick on me anyway.
Gonna be that little something, you know what I mean? So it's just like, there's just no point in worrying about someone's opinion and all. Like, bro, I'll never see some of y'all in my life again. You have a account with 0 posts and 89 followers and whatever. Like, congrats. Enjoy your life. I'm gonna enjoy mine. I'm so far past someone's opinion of me. I know who I am. I always say I know where I live, so I never need to address anything. Like, you know what I mean?
God, I absolutely love that quote. I quoted it and tweeted that out this morning and credited him, because I mean, that is absolutely a brilliant quote. I don't know who came up with that. If he came up with that himself, that was absolutely brilliant. I know where I live, so I don't have to address anything. Oh, I freaking love it, man. That's words to live by right there, people. Let's hear it again.
And whatever. Like, congrats. Enjoy your life. I'm gonna enjoy mine. I'm so far past someone's opinion of me. I know who I am. I always say I know where I live, so I never need to address anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, brilliant.
That's my dude. We were in Baltimore all year. Actually, it's funny because he threw me my first touchdown over there in Baltimore. So we were always like in meetings, whenever Chef would be in town, like, I'd bring him lunch, him and Lamar lunch. Like, this is somebody, I went through a whole year with in training camp and all that. Like, we're very close. So just to see him get his opportunity, it's always unfortunate the way the opportunities happen like that. But just to see him have an opportunity and to be more comfortable, like, this is not I don't think people understand. If there's any position someone could sign to and come to a team and play and ball out, quarterback is by far the hardest. And this is one of the most complex offenses that's in the league. So
yeah, but Odell, with all due respect, I'm not sure that's the own that you think it is. I I mean, should it be that complex? That's what we're having a problem with.
So I think he did a very good job. I think that everyone around him has to help him out. And, like I say, it's just got to be a sense of urgency. It doesn't need to be time to panic or anything, but definitely a sense of urgency.
And complex, don't get me wrong, complex is okay. Complicated is not. Okay, you can have a complex offense and still it be simple to understand and simple to operate. Complex, okay. Complicated, not okay.
Interaction have you had with Tua? It's kind of been like you on PUP now, he's out. So
We've been kicking it every day. We go over there and go over the plays, and just got the opportunity to even sit down and just talk life. Things outside of football. Like, this is a part of our life, and yeah, we put everything into it. But there's a lot of life. He's got kids, he's got family. Everyone's got family for the most part. So just being able to talk life with him, talk ball, it's been great. He's a great human, and you don't get to say that about just everybody. So he's a great human. I enjoyed that time.
I don't think anybody disagrees there. It's definitely widely reported
that I had, to kick it with him, and we're all wanting him to get back and healthy. So yeah.
Obviously, we hear how much you hang out with Tua off the field, but what has that chemistry building process been like? You try to balance, like acclimating to the offense while also just rehabbing and getting healthy.
Yeah, it's hard. Again, like I say, I'm not one to complain or put my business out there because I just think people are not gonna care. But like, I've been through a lot in my career, starting with my ankle shattered in 2017, and my doc was like, a lot of people.
I got turned down by a kicking net, was trying to get married and got totally rejected by the kicking net, bro. That was tough.
Don't ever come back from this, to sports hernia surgery, to tearing my ACL, to not playing with an ACL a whole year, tearing it in the Super Bowl. Plus, I've been through a lot. So it was hard to balance. Okay, I need to do this work, take care of the knee, not overdrive it, but then I also need to get in this. So it's just been a balancing act.
God, I'm so glad Hard Knocks is not in the building. I am so glad. I think you all know what I mean there. I'll leave it at that.
It's like everything else, it's a process, but I've been enjoying it, the ups and the downs, the hard part of life, and I'm still here.
Last question. Bonding with Tyreek and Jalen, having that kind of building that camaraderie too. Yeah. Like, how important has that been?
Well, really quick, Lakeisha, how are you doing this morning? Love having you around. Appreciate you coming by. Says, I don't care how much of a good human he is. I care about what he does on the field. Well, again, the thing about Odell, the question has always been what type of person he is, because we all know what he can do on the field. You know what I mean? And the type of person he is, I think, is what determines whether we actually see his best on the field. That's kind of where I'm making that correlation. You know what I mean? Because I don't think anybody can dispute that he's, a phenomenal player. It's just, how long has it been since he's been that guy? On a regular, consistent basis. These injuries don't help, but also the mental frame of mind has been a lot to do with it too, and he's admitting to that. You know what I mean?
How great has that been for you, just kind of getting out there with them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been able to kick it. You know what I mean? It's not like because I'm on PUP, I can't see them, but I'm definitely, our time zones, we're on different time zones. I'm overseas and they're in America. They're going out to practice. I'm doing all of my work. So the crossing each other was really mainly in early on settings because I can't go out onto the field. This is my 2.5 hours to get everything in. So I'm a very time efficient person, and made sure I wanted to use up all that time. But being able to be with those guys, I mean,
well, him and I are oil and water on that. As you noticed, I was late again this morning.
I just have never seen anything like 10 and, Waddle's obviously special, but these two guys are tremendous. I think they were top 5 in the league last year or whatever it is. They're just a special talent. So just being able to, Coach and I talked like it was like I came here to be able to help them out. You know what I mean? Take some of the load off of them and then just be able to let them do their thing at the same time. So, like I say, it's not about panicking. It's about a sense of urgency, and it's time for us to come out and get a win.
What do you think of Odell?
Yeah, we'll get to that guy in a minute if you guys want me to. Because we're at the hour mark now. We got coaches to get into as well. We'll try to get to the meat and potatoes and not listen to all the minutia about injuries and all that. I just wanted to say good morning to Pam as well. Some of you guys rolling in now. G, we got up in here now. Ronnie in. Of course, Joe Riss and Tony H coming in this morning. Everybody make sure you're checking out the Blitz pickup. Just great conversation after great conversation pumping out over there on Blitz pickup. So make sure you're checking that out. Give them a subscribe and hit their notification bell so you know when they go live. I think they go usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday consistently, and then pepper in a few in between. So just great content, great conversation between the three of them, and really awesome chemistry. Good morning, Greg Souza as well. I see you popping in. And yeah, Lakeisha, you're right. For the Dolphins, nothing. And we do need to see it on the field. I certainly can't disagree with that. I just mean, like, overall, athletically, we know what he's capable of. We just have to see him actually throw it down. You know what I mean? But if you didn't notice the poll, though, Lakeisha, I'll remind everybody as well. We got up to 70 votes now. Do you care if OBJ plays or not? 27% so far have said yes. 53% no, and 20% of you have said I prefer PBJ. So get the polls in, get the likes up too. We got 46 watching, 31 likes. Need to get them up just a little bit more, or Cap's gonna fire my ass for not getting 100 likes. It's not that hard, and it's the most free and easy way to support the channel. You can also support the channel through donations, which we do appreciate. Super chats, Cash App. I think we got a Venmo. I'm not sure. But it's very easy to do. Become a member today. You can also do that. Take advantage of some emoticons and some, more exclusive content once we really get things fired up as a team. Coming along, we've come a long way, 6,200 or so subscribers strong, and we appreciate every one of you. Especially if we got all them subscribers to hit the like button, that would be amazing. Appreciate that, Dakota. T-Dubs in the chat. Timothy Washington, how you doing this morning? But yeah, I mean, you can see the sentiment out of 70 people voting so far. It's seems like it's hard for people to believe, you know what I mean? And I really understand that. I'm not trying to be like other reporters and journalists and tell you shame on you. It's completely understandable. The guy hasn't played one single down yet. I'm just saying I like the guy's body language. I like what he's talking about. He just needs to go out there and live it, just like the rest of them. And so let me know in the chat if you want to hear Javon Holland speak. It's fairly short. I want to say it's about a minute long. Actually, you know what? We'll go through it real quick before we get to the coaches. Because I always like to get shamed by Javon Holland first thing in the morning. I haven't listened to it. I don't know if that's what happens. I'm just kidding. But here we go.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool seeing him out there. I'm glad to see him out there running around, having fun. So it was nice.
What would it mean to have him back with you guys on Sunday?
I mean, it's going to mean a lot. He's a hell of a player. He's going to add some much needed dynamic attack to the offense. So I'm excited to see him out there running around.
Obviously, you guys, just from the energy in here, see
Now, I think she just caught him right there. Hold on, let's hear her question again.
Fun, so it was nice.
What would it mean to have him back with you guys on Sunday?
I mean, it's gonna mean a lot. He's a hell of a player.
She caught him. He's playing. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna report it. We're gonna do this right. It's live. It's breaking. It's news. You heard it here first. Javon Holland seeming to confirm that Odell Beckham Jr. will be playing on Sunday. According to the Fins tailgate, who is speculating that because of logic and reasoning, Javon Holland was asked by a reporter how much OBJ would mean to them on Sunday, and he said quite a bit, without even realizing that she asked if he's playing on Sunday. So according to Javon Holland, it seems like Odell Beckham Jr. is playing on Sunday. We will continue to track this information or this news as more information becomes available.
Player, he's gonna add some.
Hit the like button.
Some much needed dynamic attack to the offense. So I'm excited to see him out there running around.
Obviously, you guys, just from the energy in here, seem like you guys are in a good place mentally. How have you been able to kind of keep it up for a game like that?
Well, I mean, you can't really control anything that already happened, so there's no point in worrying about it. You just got to keep, LIVINs, keep on living.
What do you think is possible proceeding without Jordan Poyer at this time, and what were your reps like with Marcus Smith?
They were good. It's a hit to for Poe to be down, but that's my dog. He'll be back. He's not down forever. And so right now it's just me and Marcus. We rolling. It's fun.
Javon, I'm sure you watched OBJ early on in his career. To me at least, it looked like he's right back where he was.
He's moving around. He looks great. He's moving out there real good. So I'm excited for him. So excited to see the success that he brings to the team.
Sorry, I don't know if you answered this just back here, but just seeing McDaniel going down, but then Anthony Weaver's like, hey, the entire defense knows that it's a long football season, so there's no sympathy cards. Kind of how important is it to continue to step up, knowing that hey, it is a long season, you guys are trying to get that one on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, guys go down, and it's like it's tragic to see that happen, and my heart goes out to JP. I know he fought through that Achilles injury, and he's a warrior, and he's in good spirits about it. But at the end of the day, I mean, we still got to work, still got to show up on Sunday, and do our job. So it's some sense of like. He's doing it over there, but I gotta do my work over here. So, but I mean, my heart goes out to him, and we still keep on rolling.
Yeah, well, that's all you can do. The Dolphins bringing in yesterday in a roster move, Tyus Bowser, to try to fill another, a gap at depth on the edge rushing and linebacking. But according to Weaver, looks like it's going to be mainly a collective effort. And he has, mentioned, he has stated that he trusts everybody to step up and do their job. So far, with the defense being the brightest spot of our team so far, and the acumen of this coach, I think it's fair to probably trust that he's not just blowing sunshine up us. So let's hear what Mr. Weaver has to say, because it is so enjoyable to listen to this man speak. Such a high-class individual. And let's get into this thing.
Hi, Anthony.
How you doing?
One random question that I get several times a year from readers asking about could Channing Tindall play the edge, obviously with Jalen going down. Is there something about his skill set, knowing that he's behind 4 veteran inside linebackers, is there something about his skill set that you and Joe Barry have determined would not make him the ideal fit outside, even though there's a need there, even though he had pass rush success at Georgia?
Yeah, particularly with how we view the outside backer position, it's more just a physical attribute, matchup which why that wouldn't work. He's like 230 pounds, right? He's relying on speed. We need guys that can set the edge, that obviously has some coverage flexibility, but first and foremost, their primary job is to set the edge in the run game, and that'd be asking a lot of that kid.
You losing a guy like Jalen,
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is something we've seen from the beginning with Tyndall. If you're and people that have been to camp can see it. He doesn't work with the pass rushers. He's not with that group. They've had him as with the coverage linebackers and the other linebackers from the whole time he's been here. I think it's the fans that expected that out of him. And look, what he's saying there is pass rushing ain't the only thing that a edge tackle is responsible for. They're responsible for the edge. And if he's not big enough and strong enough to set that edge, then we're going to get rolled by a running back off tackle. And why is he on the team? For the same reason Duke Riley or anybody else that's not an edge rushing linebacker is on the team.
Reset the mind of so much stuff that's happening. What week are we in? Like it's been a lot. So how are you guys adjusting again to another? Yeah. Not necessarily. I want to say.
You guys have to remember. I mean, it wasn't like I know they list guys as linebackers, but this edge position wasn't something that. I mean, a lot of edge rushers in the history of the NFL have been D tackles. It's not. You know what I mean? Linebacker isn't that's not their first and foremost like forte. Guys that are edge rushers are guys that they don't really know. They're a guy that can rush and set the edge. They're a guy that is like a linebacker with a D tackle's body. And we call them, I mean, they're outside linebackers, yeah, traditionally even. But there's a lot of D tackles that have been stars on the edge too. And what he's saying is basically Tyndall's not that tweener guy. He's not a D tackle size guy.
A setback because everyone's going to have to step up as usual, but how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, first off, just heart goes out to Jalen. Just know the work he's put in, the mindset he has, how important he is to our unit. Yeah, you hate to see anything like that happen to any player, particularly one of that magnitude. For us as a defense, like, shoot, this is a National Football League. Last time I checked, I don't think I'm going to be getting any sympathy cards from anybody on the Patriots. So it's our job to one.
Well, certainly not the Patriots.
Collectively as a group, both coaches and players, step up our game to fill that void with him not out there. And I think we got the guys that can go out there and do that.
I wanted to ask you individually.
I mean, he's like a doctor when you're in the emergency room on your, with your life on the line, and he's like, "You're gonna live." I don't know why I trust this guy, but I just trust him. Like, look, I mean, the guy just exudes trust.
Usually about the guys that will be asked to step up, Quinn Bell, Mo, and
by the way, a fire shirt this morning, Anthony. I love the orange. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of the orange. That's a really killer shirt.
Chop, like what? I don't want to ask you to name a starter right now, but what exactly do you like from each one of them? What do they give you?
Yeah, they all have their special skills and attributes, right? They're each that are kind of unique to them. I think Quentin is very versatile in the fact that he can drop into coverage. You can rush him from multiple spots. He is a firm edge setter, right? I think he's still trying to refine and figure out who he is as a pass rusher, but he does a lot of things well. The two rookies, right? They're still trying to feel their way and trying to understand the league a little bit. Chop has obviously had more at bats at that, and you see his confidence growing with what we're asking him to do weekly. Are there ups and downs? Is it like the stock market a little bit? Sure. It's like that with every rookie. But what we need him, obviously, when you lose a Jalen Phillips, where he needs to be most impactful, which is his primary reason for drafting him, is to affect the passer, right? And sometimes you don't necessarily see that in sack production, but he needs to be there, and that guy needs to feel him. And then Muhammad, I see Muhammad, like, you want him to be an enforcer, right? He's a guy that's rugged, tough. You talk about it, he should be a firm edge setter, be able to reduce him to a 3 technique and rush in there if need be. But he needs to be like your top flight security of the world. You know what I mean? He needs to be the protector and be the enforcer on the field. And I've kind of tasked him with that since he's been here.
We've a philosophy question regarding the play before the half. Tyler Boyd, 27. Yeah,
sick.
You guys are kind of in an umbrella coverage type. What's your thought on that specific play and your general philosophy? Is it better to rush the quarterback or sit back?
So situationally right there, obviously they had no timeouts. So you'd like to tackle them in bounds and ideally like keep them out of field goal range. So what we did was we rushed 3 and we played a coverage with outside leverage where everybody was man outside leverage. And you had 2 safeties sitting in that kind of dig dagger window, which is where kind of most offenses try to attack you. Our mistake, and this comes from a coaching standpoint, instead of letting those guys play deep and then work up, we moved them up. And then what happens is offensively, like they do some smart stuff, right? They dangle a little cheese in front of you, which makes you move up a little bit more, and then they hit the window behind you. So we got to do a better job, obviously, in those special situations of winning there, both from a coaching and player just mindset and going out there and executing. It's certainly a situation we've worked, just in that particular instance, we didn't execute at the level we needed to.
And not to throw anybody under the bus.
I mean, the guy is literally telling you, look, I effed up. You know what I mean? And they exploited me, you know? I ain't going to make that mistake again.
Did Poyer just make the wrong decision there?
To me, that is completely on us. Like, we should have kept those safeties back deep and let them move forward as they saw it. And we decided to move them up, which I think hurt us.
Totally
the importance of
the
setting the edge. Where is Chop
really.
Robinson in that regard, and what are some of the teaching points you can provide him?
Yeah, I think Chop, for the most part, has done a good job when he's been asked to set the edge.
Delusional Patriots fan, I think so too. People don't want to roll with that yet. They pushing back on me, but is this the first time you've heard him speak? I'm just wondering, because it's the first impression I got the first time I heard him speak too.
Where he can continue to improve is really just in his hand usage, getting extension, and then violently shedding blocks. And that's normal for young college players. A lot of these guys, and I think it's some of the teaching, he's 3 points of contact, right? They're loading up, they're getting their head in there. Well, in this league, when you get in your head in there and you're like this, these 340-pound linemen, they're going to grab you and they're going to throw you all over the place. And then they're not going to call holding, and that is what it is. So you got to play with extension so you can get them locked out, locate the ball.
In other words, this is the pros, man. You ain't getting no help from the referees unless you're Kansas City.
And then shed these offensive linemen. So I think if there was an area he needed to improve at in setting the edge, it's now, once you've got that point of contact, getting locked out, getting extension, so you have time and distance now to find the ball and get rid of that offensive player.
How would you assess how Jalen Ramsey has played this year?
I think Jalen Ramsey's playing like Jalen Ramsey. There was a couple times where, there's some coverage breakdowns where he was, I don't want to say he was vulnerable, but he wasn't put in an advantageous situation where he was expecting help and it wasn't there, and that reflected negatively on him. I don't think those were his faults. But we've put him against their best guys the last 2 weeks, and when he
that's the difference between the fan base at large and the coaches. Like, we see a bad play on the field, and this is why I'll always try to tell you all, I try to see things the way he's talking about right now. Like, especially with defense, you got to look at the performance in the macro. You got to look at the fact that because for them, the bottom line for a defense is keeping points off the board. That's really the measure of their job. If you're talking about wins and losses, if you're talking about keeping the stats low, is going to help that. Yeah. So you can look at a defense's stats and say, and in game stats and say, okay, obviously, if they're really low, if they're really bad, you're probably giving up a lot of points. But offenses are going to do what they're going to do. You don't see shutouts every single game. You actually rarely see them anymore. So when you at the end of the day, when you're walking off the field and the other team's got 17 to 24 points, you can say in the macro, we had a great defensive performance. We kept giving our offense a chance to score while keeping the other team's chances to score at a minimum. That's really the measure of a defense if your concern is wins and losses. And so what he's saying there is what we saw as Ramsey getting burned, or oh look at her. Nah, he knows to not hold certain things accountable. It's like when a receiver has a ball right in his hands and he tips it and it gets intercepted. The coach is not going to go harp on the quarterback for that in practice, even though we still count it as an interception. We say so-and-so had 3 interceptions that game, and that's all that matters. Now, if they had 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and they won the game, that's when we start going, well, that was on the receiver. You know, but if it's 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions and you're losing the game, nobody cares that the receiver tipped the ball. But the coaches still look at it that way. They're not like us. He looks at the tape and he says, well, yeah, Ramsey got burned there, but he had every right to expect help back there, and he didn't. So how's that on him? He was playing within the scheme.
He was on him. Shoot, he's been who we expect him to be. So got to continue to find ways to move him. You know, try to do that a week ago. Thought he affected the game, right? Had some TFLs, like blitzing from the corner position, blitzing that nickel. And we're just going to keep trying to find ways to move him around so he can affect the game.
You guys are coming into similar records with the Patriots, you know, and what is something you've seen from them, but also knowing like a win on Sunday can be the difference maker, especially in division games.
Yeah. You hear the head coach, and I think probably just culturally things are different within the building, but their play style is still very much like New England. They want to be big and physical and tough, right? They want to impose their will on you with the run game, and then take their shots on some of the guys they have on the edge. So we know what to expect, right? We know it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight, and we like to think we're built for that a little bit. We know we're going to have to stop the run. We know, like, from a numbers standpoint, yeah, you could say it's been our Achilles heel a little bit, but 141 last week, and they had 40 attempts, 3.6. That 3.6 yards per attempt, that leaves you pretty good at the end of the year. We'll take that. So while the numbers from a rushing total standpoint may not look good, when you're talking about yards per carry, I think we're trending in the right direction. So we'll just continue to prove in that particular area, and then see if we can affect this.
Oh, how dare you, coach, you stat head.
Quarterback, and we get them in predictable pass situations.
I was going to ask you about the run defense, and we've talked about the one big run before. I think you guys played more 8-man fronts than you played all year. Is that true? And was the 8-man front effective? I know you just talked about the total.
I think the last team we played, they got in a lot of XL groupings, which kind of forced you to play some bigger fronts. So if we have, it's more a product of what the offense has presented to us rather than what we wanted to do.
Did see a lot of rotation.
Was it effective?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think when they were in their big groupings, we had success.
Even Peely got some of
the one long run they had, I think they were 11 personnel. You know, it kind of squeaked through the B gap there, and the guy was on he was on his way. But shoot, you give me 40 cracks at it, I'm bound to break one too. Like, God bless him. Like, good job. You know, if that means that you're a successful offensive coordinator where you run it 40 times, you have one like plus 10 gain, like, good job. Hats off.
Yeah, that was also a message to our offense, by the way. And that was a message to all the fans that want to blame the defense for collapsing late in ball games. He was crediting their running back, and he was saying, look, I'm not gonna jump off a cliff over it when after about 40 carries, yeah, somebody's gonna finally break one. You know, that was a message to the offense. Yo, we're holding this team to 6 points all game. Eventually, it's gonna get up there if you don't do something and hold on to the ball. Same as last year against Tennessee. You got a 2-score lead, and you got time to burn off the clock. Well, if you keep giving Tennessee the ball back, don't be surprised if the defense finally gives it up.
All right, we got to stop them every time, but Go ahead.
Other than his ability to catch the ball with his legs, what have you liked about his work so far?
Oh man, how sweet was that, right? The thing I love about Og is just one, his approach to work. He's the same guy every day, and he's essentially what you hope Muhammad grows into. Right now for us, like he is an enforcer, and you saw it multiple times in that games. He sets a firm edge, right? He can intimidate you with just his sheer size and will and his ability to like stick his face in the fan. And then as a rusher, right, he's not just a power guy. There's a little bit of finesse aspect and great hand usage to it too. So to me, he's a perfect guy for Muhammad to watch and kind of see what he can take from him and then add to his game.
Quick follow-up.
I mean, is there any way we can get this guy suited up this week to play? I mean, he looks like he's ready to play some backer, man. I don't know about y'all, but like, why do these guys quit, man? Like, this dude looks like he can suit up this week.
Muhammad didn't mention Chop because of different skill
Yeah,
sets.
just different skill sets. That's all. Yeah.
What are the reasons that the team is first in the NFL in third down defense?
Yeah. I think it always starts with the players, right? It always starts with them. I think we got a lot of guys that can do multiple jobs, and that enables us to be multiple from a coverage standpoint. I think when you look at us defensively, it'd be hard for an offense to pinpoint by down and distance, like, hey, this is who they are. When you allow offenses to do that, shoot, these guys are smart, right? They're gonna out scheme you, and they're gonna put you in situations you don't want to be in. I think when you just look at us, if you tried to break us down, it'd be hard to say we were one particular thing, which I think then makes offenses more vanilla, which allows you to attack that.
This team has had success over the years with undrafted corners with Needham and Kohu. Was there a moment the last few months where you and the other coaches or Mike and Chris said, I think we have something with Storm Duck, and how did he play on Monday, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know how fast we realized that. There were certainly some growing pains early, but man, I'm so proud of that kid and just the strides he's made since he's been here. The one thing that I think works best in his favor is that he is completely unflappable. Like, it doesn't matter if something bad happens to him, like next play, he is the same guy. You never see him overreacting to anything. He's just like, all right, that happened. I'm going to win the next play. And I think particularly at that position, that's a mindset you have to have. The other thing you love about him is shooting. I think he's physical out there for a corner. You saw it in the TFL he had where they tried to throw the ball to the flat, where he ran by the wide receiver and made the tackle. So when you have those two combinations with things like you have his athletic skill set, obviously, and you have a short memory at that position, that gives you a chance to be successful.
I was going to ask about Storm. That was my question.
Yeah.
He's this interesting mix to me of, you talk about the physicality and him going after it with the shoulder injury the other game. Yeah, he kind of jumps out to you on film as aggressive, but he also told me that he reads books. So he's kind of cerebral. Well, tell me about his personality. Like,
I mean, I don't know why that. I mean, guys, his name is Storm Duck.
Right.
All right. I mean, that shouldn't surprise you, right? I'm sure he's an interesting person. But no, I mean, he is a quiet kid. He's a quiet kid.
Did your mother name you that?
But you can see he's very cerebral. He's taking it all in. And while that may not manifest itself like a Duke Riley per se, you realize that he gets it and it's important to him. So I love the kid, man, and just look forward to just seeing the trajectory of his career moving forward.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, good dude. Frank Smith looks on. I was gonna skip over Danny Crossman, and to be honest with you, there really isn't much that you can garner from Frank Smith. He sounds kind of dull, like he's completely aloof to what's going on with the offense. But what I would like to play is this man right here, because we don't get to hear him speak very often. He doesn't take the podium very often. We'll see what he has to say. He speaks a little bit on Odell Beckham and in general what's going on with our wide receiver room, which obviously didn't turn out to be quite so far as productive as we expected. That we thought we had this great room, and through injury and all that, it really hasn't turned out to be that way. So I was kind of anxious to hear from Welker. And then we'll wrap it up because the outside linebackers coach doesn't have much to. He just reiterates pretty much everything Anthony Weaver said. And then we'll see what we got there. We are hoping to get an appearance from who. He's quite fired up about a certain stat that came out yesterday about winning percentages between this coaching regime and the last coaching regime. I think we would find interesting. He plans on diving deeply into that because I think it's quite interesting that when you look at from the perspective of salary cap available to each coach and player availability and roster construction and all that, it starts to be a thing. It starts to make you think that what things were truly about beyond winning and improving our chances of winning and going deeper and all that, because it seems like once again the fans are being served up a bunch of mediocrity in the long term. So make sure you're keeping a lookout for that, and coming up soon, possibly even tonight. We're trying to work something out. We're at the hour and a half mark. Everybody hit the like button. If we don't get to 100 likes, I'm in a lot of trouble, and we're only at 40 right now. Current poll, we're up to 93 votes. Thank you for everybody that's voted so far. It helps with interaction. And plus, I'd like to know what you guys think, like what your temperature is, And today's question is, do you care if OBJ plays or not? The yeses have gone up to 30%. I think maybe that his interview might have helped his cause there. 30% of you now care if he plays. 54% say no. And 16% say I prefer PBJ. So the no's went up 1%, the yeses went up, and the PBJs went down a little. However, still, 70% of you don't care if OBJ plays or not. So keep voting. Get the sample size nice and large. The larger the sample size, the more accurate the result. I should say the more accurately represents what you all think as a whole. Greg wants to change his answer to PBJ. Too late, Greg. No PBJ for you. Jersey, you talking about McDaniel? I don't know if you're missing anything. We just ran through Anthony Weaver. We're about to go through Wes Welker. And we don't really get much information. I didn't see McDaniel from yesterday. If he did an interview yesterday or if he's put one out since then. I think usually he'll speak today at 1:15. Let me look at let me make sure I'm not missing it. Because, yeah, we can go through a little bit of it if it's not ridiculously long. Plus, I'll have to put him on 1 1/4 speed at least. Let's see here. Miami Dolphins. Oh, yeah, he did. It was released 7 minutes ago. Yeah, I see that. So, and that's from today. So, yeah, we can certainly go through that. Wes is about, let's see. Actually, I might make an executive decision here from time constraints. We're going to go with McD. Because McD's the man. And let's be real, we can garner more information from the head coach than the wide receiver coach. We're looking at about 20 minutes. Well, depending on how long this. Okay, they only got about 15 seconds of placeholder. Good. All right, so it's about 20 minutes long. That'll carry us right to the end of the show. That'll be perfect timing. I just can't go for 4 hours today, guys. But you do have Shake Money coming up this evening with the drive time open panel. Everybody can come say what they want. Yell at me for anything I've said all week. And Shake will definitely be opening it up for all of you to come up and say whatever's on your mind. Of course, that'll be followed tonight. I'm hoping by a short, not a short, but like a shorter show about this coaching comparison that Capitan wants to get into. And of course, you'll have live Insomnia tonight at midnight with Shake Money and Crypto. No, I'm sorry. That's tomorrow night with Shake Money and Crypto, midnight, right after the Wolfpack, formerly Exhale. Hey, that'd be cool too. Hey, I'll stay as long as they want to if the donations start coming in. I mean, let's be real. The time constraints are only because I got to do stuff that'll make me money. So, there's always one way to keep me around. All right, maybe not to make money, but to feed myself. I got a bunch of paperwork to do. And yeah, Jersey, you didn't know that? He's our wide receiver coach. Yeah, I know you did, Jersey. I think it was to, who was it? I want to say, no, it wasn't Aqua. Maybe it was Aqua. Yeah. But formerly Club Exhale, Ali has changed the show to the Wolfpack because we're taking on that moniker. We're no longer denying it anymore. The Wolfpack has arrived. And we're here to take our organization back as fans. So that ought to be fun. We'll still be hyping up for the game Sunday. And then, of course, you can join Capitan and myself and any others team members that want to join for the game reaction. 1 o'clock this week in New England. I won't be in New England, but the game is in New England. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you are reminded of all of that Finn's Tailgate activity. Go to tftgnetwork.com and bookmark the page. Make it your homepage. And that way you're also reminded that way and have links to all of our content on YouTube, everywhere else, Apple, Spotify. And you can get to the TFTG Network shop where you find all our great gear. But mainly hit the like button. Appreciate y'all joining us. As you can see, Jersey Dolphins is here. Capitan's lurking around. Saxman J. Will. Thank you for the note. Aquavision's up in here. And then we got McDaniel just spoke. Preempting Wes Welker. Let me full screen this booger. and let's get going.
It was great. I was very proud of my 4-year-old daughter. She waited all day for me to get home to open her presents, which not like no chance with me as a child. And it was the first like present unwrapping where she was having her own personality takes with each gift, like like covering her eyes and going, "No way," like that. It was awesome. Oh yeah, no, that we I mean, you can't go wrong with Barbies and unicorns, right? Yeah, yeah.
I guess not.
So on that note, I was going to ask you: do you think that it would be prudent to have Odell have another week of practice through the bye week and bring him back October 20th, or is there a real possibility we could see him in uniform on Sunday?
You know, there's something to be.
Great question. If you couldn't hear it, he asked the pertinent question. Do you think it's better to have Odell wait it out and have another bye week, or do you expect him to play on Sunday?
Said about today's practice, for sure. However, you know, I think there's on a team that's very motivated to win a football game. You know, I think he's eager to try to help do that. So you kind of have to, you know, weigh. You take in the full breadth of the practice week, and then make a decision. And that decision, if you do go that direction, has implications that you have to address on you know, within your team. And then if you do go that direction, it's some sort of modified usage of them that you'd expect the following game to there be a little uptick. So
it's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I told y'all. If we do see him this week, it'll be in a limited role, likely in a, you know, give us some big plays, hopefully. And then as the weeks go on, you'll see it more. Exactly what I said. And he's basically saying it's all hands on deck. That was the first part of his answer. You know, he's eager to get out there because we need a dub. So normally I would probably wait another through the bye and give it all that time. But no, we need a guy out there that can make some plays. But that's all you could probably expect him for this week.
Weighing that in, watching the guys work together, and making sure that you know, we put him in a fair position if we go that direction.
How did he look yesterday?
Now I'm almost 100% sure that McDaniel listens to my show in the morning before his press conference. Welcome, McDaniel. Appreciate you listening to Coffee and a Cup of Color. Yours truly, Color Commentary. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out, and hope to see you get things right on Sunday.
In this first practice,
I'm being pretty measured with allowing the week to progress, because it was exciting to see him operate within the offense. You know, he did a good job yesterday. He looked good. But so, you know, me being year 3 as a head coach, you know, I temper my excitement. I try to see how he feels and looks today after, you know, a little workload, and then you know, be responsible for the team. But it was a very positive day from that aspect for him.
We saw Toronto Armstead and Kendall Fuller were bumped up to full participation. Where do they stand now as of Friday? Are they cleared? Are they on the verge of clearance? Still in protocol?
The protocol is tricky. Now, I'll say it this way, because I think I'm fairly optimistic that after today's concluded, the final stages of the protocol, they'll be able to clear. So I'm fairly optimistic in that. They haven't cleared, but today is part of that process, and the different details of that on the after practice. So, but feel pretty good about it.
How much is Jordan Boyer?
So
the other question was about Teron Armstead and Fuller and the concussion protocol. Sounded like, according to Javon, that Fuller was still a no-go, but it looks like Armstead is probably going to be all right.
We do the inverse optimism of the two we just previously were talking about. I would say he is. I'm not optimistic. So for the game, still leaving a little chance, but I'm not optimistic. And then, but we fortunately have guys that if he's unable to play, that guys may get an opportunity to replace him. Marcus.
Is he practicing today?
Yeah. No.
With the Arias ankle, is that a concern? Does that put his status in question for Sunday?
What's that?
With the Braxton has been nursing something that's been on the
I'm optimistic that he's going to play. He's been living in the training room to get it right, and I know he's starting to feel a groove in his opportunities, and made some plays for us. So we're hoping he gets there, and he's doing everything he can.
Raheem, could this be the week?
Yeah, it's in a similar boat as Odell, where I feel optimistic that after today, we'll be able to I need to assess potential setbacks, but if no setbacks occur today, then there's a strong chance that we'd be able to see him, and which he's been seething to try to get back on the field. And so then I'll be in a mode of he's out there, but I'm gonna have to modify how much he plays in general, just because for him, he basically had one healthy rep this season, then he got hurt on his first touch, and then he was fighting it and tried to didn't really know what it was, and tried to play through it. And so I can't go 0 to 60 with these guys, as much as practice might bait me to. He'll be involved if all things go today, but how much, that's going to be a lot of communication with him and I.
Another week with the playbook for Snoop. How does he look specifically when it comes to the timing of the offense?
No, I think it was a very, very cool week for Snoop, because there was a lot of firsts the week before, in operating the offense and doing some of the stuff that we knew he was skilled to do, but it was just the first time actually doing it. So this has been a very beneficial week. I think he's felt more comfortable, and as a result, his confidence that he wears on his sleeve is exuded through the rest of the guys. So
Oh, you mean that a guy that's been here only 9 days might actually improve week over week? Oh, okay. Thank you, McDaniel. Appreciate you made sure our fans know that, because apparently they've forgotten that.
Everything has been improved as you'd expect.
Value being a balanced offense, one that keeps teams off balance. I know so much has been made about Tua's absence, but where is the disappointment level in the run game contributed to what's happening on offense?
Probably equal part. I think there's been. I think the biggest thing is plays that you don't make, even on third down. Like there's been a lot of issues. We haven't been able to run the ball the way that we hope. We haven't been able to get everyone involved in the pass game the way we've hoped, and that's kind of a residual of going on 3 games of more drives being under 5 plays than over 5 plays. Those short drives really they take away your run game. They take away targets for a lot of players. So I think they're interrelated. I think there have been points in time where we've seen what we kind of expected in terms of the intentionality, the accuracy of aiming points, and but whether it was the chicken or the egg, all execution is related to everybody's production. So to say I'm happy with it would be what I mean. No, I'm not happy with the way anything has really been executed thus far. And but is it? And I do think it's equal parts across the board on offense, from operation to execution of running pass plays. So they all have been emphasized, all things, because we need improvement, and the team is counting on it.
Yeah, operation meaning play calling. That he didn't want to say the word, but that's operation and execution. So execution by the players, operation by the coaches, meaning play calling.
Is there any magic play you can dial up to get the run game? Is it the offensive line? I mean, how have you identified what's going on outside of like people putting you in bad situations?
No, I think it's a cool question, because it's you have to. The only way you get things
Well, that's Omar. He always gives the cool questions.
solved when you have such a far stretch between what you see our standard being and the actual result, is you need a collection of people that are focused on what they can do better. So how does that play out? It's my fault. I say that and I act accordingly. What things can I fix? But then that's also depending on, and depending on a bunch of the right guard, the X receiver, the halfback, looking at everything the same way. For me, schematically, I think there's things that the defenses have planned for, and give them their credit. And you try to forecast how people are going to plan, and the schematic offset for if people are going to take something away, there's something else they're giving up. I don't think I've done a good enough job, making people pay for overplaying against something. I also don't think that, along the way, when you don't have rhythm in the run game, and you have people kind of forcing the issue or trying to make a play, and we've lost some of the connectivity to the technique and fundamentals that we know. That's how we got to a place of running the ball well. That the secret formula is everyone collectively attacking the problem, not even considering, okay, it's not my fault, and then have collective action, because we want to run the ball better. We want to run the ball better. Those are words, but actions are what this league's about. Winning and losing and improvement is what it's about. So I think,
and those are words too,
we
McDaniel.
need to do everything better, including the run game.
Those are words
In the
too.
preseason, this is along the lines of what we're talking about here. In the preseason, we saw Janu doing some interesting things with the offense and involved in a variety of ways. In the regular season, not so much. What's the disconnect there?
Yeah, you're right. It is in the same vein. I think we've had some things up that might be some of the things that you're talking about from training camp, as well as some other new things for them. And we haven't got to those plays. And I really think you can make a case, or I'm assuming there's a case being made for each player on our offense. Why aren't they more involved? That's by nature what you're going to get when things don't work. You should have done something different, and that's fair. And so I think the biggest thing that I've been trying to paint the picture to all the offensive players who all want to help be a part of the solution is that it's execution on plays that aren't necessarily for you, that help you get the ball. You get a lot of people opportunities on a 11-play drive. You get 4 people opportunities on a 4-play drive, and those things add up as you're trying to establish the line of scrimmage, and you're trying to get everybody the opportunity to affect the game. So for me, I try to do, like I said before, with the run game. How can I give him opportunities within the game plan? How can I get those called? And ultimately, across the board, everyone's opportunities go up when we're staying on the field. And I think that's the main thing is a lot of guys can get more involvement, when they're in plays. Maybe they're not at the point of attack, but everyone's execution of everything will help lead to more opportunities, as well as me doing a better job as well.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the Patriots? Do you think the record shows who they are as a football team? I haven't seen.
What's what's unique about the Patriots is they've had principles. They've played a style of football that's been very similar since, you know, I got in the National Football League in 2005. There's things that they do on offense and defense that maintain the same philosophy as when it played against them in 2011. They try to control the ball and time of possession, and then they make you earn everything you get defensively by way of having a front that is as unified as any front in the National Football League in technique and fundamentals. They have, like, whether it's a 7-man box or 8-man box, all sorts of different personnel and packages. Everybody plays the same way, so they make you earn it, and you have to do it. It's generally not in short drives, and they make you play good football where you win the turnover battle to have a chance to win the fourth quarter. So I think that this team has exemplified some of the greatest traits that I've known the Patriots to have, that have always made them a tough out anyway. And they're playing with passion, and you have to win football games the right way to beat these guys. And that's line of scrimmage out, and then winning the turnover battle and being prudent and resilient as they'll make their plays too. So their tape shows good football, whether or not the result is in their favor more often than not. Yeah, they haven't won all their games, but there's plenty of examples of winning football all over the tape.
Besides Bowser, the choices this team needs pass rusher?
Well, first of all, his talent as a player, and these are when you're talking about veteran players around the league, you have connectivity from their draft eval and getting to know them coming out. And then,
all right, we're going to
it
1.5
didn't hurt
speed
the
now.
cause at all that it's a like system, and so that makes the learning curve a little shorter, as well as you get to picture a little bit more direct visuals of how you can apply them in your scheme. So I think he strengthens the group. And as I said before, I think it was on Wednesday, that the key to the group is a contribution across the board for us to move forward and be productive the way we want to, in a situation where we have some injuries.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about something you mentioned after the game. You said that everything is pretty much on the table as far as making significant changes based on what you're seeing on the field. I know it's not as simple, or it's not a case where you just abandon your offensive philosophy just because you're not getting the results, but what does that look like to make those changes from one week to another? Because I think some people assume it's just as easy as you don't do what's not working.
Yeah, and I think that's human nature, is to what isn't working, you should try something else. And when I say everything's on the table, you're looking at as simply as what if we do something different, as well as what are we focusing on? How am I communicating the utmost non-negotiable variable for success in this play? How do you, I think, and then you try to make the changes necessary. How you install it, what we're focusing on based upon the information you get back. We're bad at X, Y, or Z. Well, X and Y we can improve. Z, to expect better results, we're kind of far off. So maybe we abandon Z and try U. So it's a constant play by play. When you look at, for us, we're always looking at the entirety of what the plan needs to be, what it needs to be focused around, and then what things can we adjust to play to what our players are doing well. So there's a little bit of outside the box. There's a little bit of adjustment in types of things you're doing. There's finer tuning. There's maybe more overlap in concepts, less volume in rules for each. So it's a litany of things that you're very, very motivated to do so considering you want to be a part of the solution and change the results.
Well, there you have it, folks. Mike McDaniel, seeming to be pretty fair, well planned out for the game. Miss Finn says, translator, please. What he was saying there was, if your play is not working, you have to adjust the actual play. Not necessarily abandon the concept of the play, but you have to figure that, okay, normally this play requires this, that, and the other guy, and the other guy maybe ain't doing it, or the other guy maybe is hurt and his backup is not capable. So we've got to go from this to this, that, and somebody else, or something else. But it's, might be the same play. He's just basically talking, spitting out a bunch of jargon that really just means making adjustments, and that everybody that is interested in making those adjustments are the ones that are going to make the play better. I mean, that's basically what he said. Really nothing insightful. But anyway, 100 of you watching now. Now everybody's going to start rolling in right when the show's about to get done, right? That's funny. That's okay. Y'all can finish. We all can watch it, rewind, and watch the whole show. We talked a lot about Odell Beckham Jr., his preparedness to play. We got a poll running right now. 106 of you have voted. Only 44 likes. Get them likes up. That's like 52 of you voted without hitting the like button. Do you care if OBJ plays or not? 30% have said yes. 53% have said no. And the same 17% still prefer PBJ over OBJ. So we're looking at about 70% of you are completely indifferent to whether OBJ is on the field or not. And it looks like, according to the coach, that we are going to see some action in some capacity from Odell Beckham Jr. Looks like Raheem Mostert is probably going to get some action. Teron Armstead looks like a go. I would imagine a no on Kendall Fuller. Kendall Fuller. Oh, Finn's Real Big O show just ended. Oh, I see. So I'm like the, well, Culler's still talking. Why? If everybody don't like the guy so much, why does everybody watch him in replay and watch me in live? I don't, I'm just kidding. The dude's been doing it a long time. But either case, make sure you're giving us your thoughts in the comment section below after the show's done. You can always still give us a super chat by way of a super thanks if you happen to be watching this show in replay. We appreciate all the help, but mainly hit the like button. It's the easiest and freest way to help. And we're getting close to 50. If we can't even make 50 likes, then how can I ever tell Capitan that I'm going to get the likes over 100? You guys got to help me out. I'll go ahead and end the poll at 106 votes. There's your results. 52% said no. They don't care about OBJ. 30% saying yes, and 16% preferring peanut butter and jelly. So real quick, we're going to look at the game real quick. It's Friday. Ain't much to say about it. We got to get ourselves back on track. In action last night, you saw that the Atlanta Falcons in overtime with a walk-off touchdown to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-30. Kirk Cousins with 509 yards passing last night, and a stellar performance in getting another primetime win. Tail of the game for Miami versus New England. Miami needing to turn the season around. New England just hoping to keep improving. Dolphins are getting 1 point, going up to New England. Over and under on the game is 36.5. ESPN Analytics has the Patriots with a 59.3% chance of winning this game, and the Dolphins with a 40.4% chance. Jacoby Brissett with 536 yards on the year. Ramondre Stevenson, 267, and it looks like Ramondre is going to be riding the pine in favor of Antonio Gibson, according to their coach, which we found out on Shake Money's Smoke Lounge the other day. Make sure you're catching him every Wednesday, as well as this evening for the drive time open panel. So they officially have Mostert now as questionable, Armstead as well as questionable. Couple of the notable injuries on the Patriots: KJ Osborne, questionable. Jabril Peppers, questionable. Kyle Duggar, same. Marcus Jones, questionable. And Cole Strange is on the PUP. Both teams have lost their last 3. Game time weather expected to be 65 degrees. Nice, beautiful autumn weather for football. Game time 1 o'clock. Coverage on Fox. Game reaction right here on the Fins Tailgate with El Capitan and myself, coming to you shortly before the game starts. And we would love to have you all around. It's so much better watching football with you all than the guys on Fox. So what I expect that OBJ has been activated. We don't care what the reasons are anymore. We don't care if he could have been. The fact of it is he's worked with Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley is likely to see better results this week, I would hope. And Tyler Huntley is going to need a guy that can sit down in the zone, a guy that can go up the middle, the guy that can do it, whatever he needs to do. 50-50 receiver. I'd expect Huntley to rely on him as much as he can while he's in the game. And of course, according to our resident Patriot fan, delusional Patriots fan, they have a hard time stopping a mobile quarterback. So Michael K disagreed with you on that, Patriots fan, with Brock Purdy saying he didn't really have that much rushing yards. But I'll go with the guy who knows his own team. And so expect Tyler Huntley to be, have a little success running around, scrambling, and getting some yards. If not, getting the ball dumped off. I don't really know what to expect as far as score, but I think that Miami should be able to put 24 points on the board. Our defense should be able to hold them to 17. I'm going to go something like that, 24-17, 24-13. We eke out our victory. We get the desperate W that we need. And maybe we can take these off our head for once, maybe 1 week. Everybody hit the like button. Thank you very much for joining me on another episode of Coffee and a Cup of Color. Try to do something tomorrow morning. I'm sure I'll be bored enough to, so stick around, hit the notification bell. Join Shake tonight on the drive time. Come up on the panel. Tell us all what you think. And until then, everybody fins up and have a great afternoon.